Rosa Martinez had been flicking foam into hearts and rosettas for 3 years at Lunar Beans in Capitol Hill before she noticed the first anomaly. It was a drizzly Tuesday, the cafe glass fogged and the morning rush thinning to remote workers with headphones. A tourist from Winnipeg ordered a lavender oat milk latte. Rosa poured the milk in her usual practice spiral, but an errant twitch of her wrist coaxed an unfamiliar sigil into the crema, a delicate looping knot she'd never studied. The cup chirped. The sound resembled a tiny tea kettle, equal parts steam and laughter, and a puff of violet vapor twirled over the surface. A naked sprite the size of Rosa's thumb did a cartwheel through the lavender mist, scattered it like confetti, then dissolved into the shop's HVAC vent. The tourist never noticed. He was already uploading a photo of the art to Instagram, but Rosa's knuckles whitened around the pitcher. She waited for the shop to clear and ran a test. Regular espresso shot, whole milk, no syrup. She thought of the knot she'd accidentally drawn, reproduced it deliberately, and watched another Sprite spring forth. This one made of caramel-colored steam, with almond eyes and wings like foam. It bowed to her in midair, giggled, then faded. Rosa killed the grinder, locked the front door, and called her former roommate, Una Kim. Una wasn't merely a seasoned roaster. She was, according to late-night confidences, an apprentice thaumaturge at the secret school hidden beneath Pike Place Market. Una arrived in 15 minutes, raincoat flapping, fingers already tracing sigils in the fog. She made Rosa repeat the pour. 3 Sprites later, Una concluded, "Those are minor elementals. Aromata, the Romans used them to bless morning libations. You, chica, are a foam shaper." "A what?" "Latte art sorcerer, basically. The glyphs you pour govern smell, warmth, and mood. It's rare. Baristas channel focus, but you're channeling spirits." Rosa stared at her steaming pitcher. "I just want to pay rent." "Keep practicing," Una said, eyes gleaming, "but be respectful. Elementals are like cats, helpful if you're polite, claws if you're not." For 2 months, Rosa refined her craft. She studied grimoires Una smuggled from the underground library, memorizing sigils for comfort, clarity, and courage. Regulars felt it first. Students claimed her cappuccinos banished exam anxiety. A widower found the courage to propose to his knitting circle sweetheart after a single cortado. Rosa discreetly wove blessings into every cup, tipping the Sprites with chocolate shavings. Then Colton Vexley descended on Seattle. Vexley, tech bro turned venture capital demigod, had been ousted from his own crypto platform and was seeking the next disruption. He appeared on local news networks, jawline chiseled, hair precisely tousled, to tout his new enterprise, Dark Matter, the world's first quantum-infused coffeehouse. The flagship would open in South Lake Union, across from Amazon's Chrome Spheres. The menu promised transcendent brews made with proprietary energy. The morning Dark Matter threw its doors open, half the city queued down the block. Vexley greeted cameras holding a demi-tasse that cascaded with silver sparks. Customers emerged raving that a single sip felt like watching dawn from the moon, though some twitched as if overstimulated by invisible currents. Una dragged Rosa to the soft opening under illusion spells so flimsy they hurt the eyes. In a corner of the gleaming space, behind plexiglass barriers, Rosa spotted a cage of shimmering light. Inside, dozens of Sprites, some shaped like sugar crystals, others like swirling espresso crema, beat against the walls, faces contorted in silent screams. "Caffeine spirits," Una murmured. "He's enslaved them. That cage is an extraction ward, pulls aroma and essence right out of them, forces it into the coffee." Rosa's stomach flipped. When she sipped a sample flat white, the taste landed like dynamite on her tongue, delicious yet desperate, as if every note of flavor were screaming, "Help me." She spat it into a napkin. "We have to shut him down." That night, all of Seattle dreamed of percolating thunder. The next morning, Lunar Bean sales fell by half. People were addicted to Dark Matter's brew. Productivity blogs hailed it as adrenaline on tap. Workers pulled 30-hour code sprints, restaurants served it instead of water, and the Sounders reported record speed on the pitch. But side effects surfaced. Skies above South Lake Union flickered sepia at dusk. Pigeons crash-landed, jittery from caffeine clouds. EMTs treated nosebleeds and patrons whose blood pressure spiked past danger zones. Still, lines lengthened. Rosa staged a meeting in Lunar Beans after close. Present were Una, Grady, the aging owner whose mustache smelled perpetually of espresso, and representatives from rival indie cafes, Sal from Bitter Plus Sweet, twins Pia and Polo from Bean There, and retired latte art champion Miguel Milky Way Delgado. Rosa outlined Vexley's crimes. The owners exchanged wary looks. "We're coffee people, not crusaders," Sal argued. "How do you fight a billionaire?" "With foam," Rosa said, summoning a custard-colored Sprite that zipped figure eights above the table. It projected images in steam. Cages, Sprite screaming, Vexley laughing. Silence collapsed on the meeting. Finally, Miguel stood. "Those are Babylon spirits. My abuela taught me about them. They belong to no man." He cracked his knuckles. "I'm in." The others followed. A coalition formed, the Seattle Independent Barista Alliance, SIBA. They set objectives: 1. Free the captive sprites. 2. Diminish dark matter's addictive hold. 3. Protect civilian palates. Una crafted talismans from spent coffee grounds blended with volcanic ash to shield them from over-caffeinated hexes. Rosa taught volunteers the beginner glyphs: heart of calm, whisk of clarity, spiral of satiation, so their drinks could soothe instead of stimulate. The brew war began with whispers. Grady offered free cortados laced with Rosa's Serenity foam to Amazon engineers pulling all-nighters. The effect: mental acuity without jitters. Coding forums buzzed, Bitter Plus. Sweet introduced decaf doves, cappuccinos that summon gentle white sprites to perch on customers' shoulders, chirping lullabies. The doves dissolved after an hour, but migraines disappeared with them. Dark matter retaliated. Vexley poured resources into new concoctions: Nitro Nebula, Gear Grind Macchiato, each more potent and enslaving. His marketing wizard seeded rumors that indie cafes used moldy beans and hippie spells that caused impotence. On day 12, every indie storefront woke to a swarm of razor-sharp coffee stirrers, flitting like dragonflies, slashing signage and window decals. Rosa recognized the stench. Adrenaline sprites forced into weapon forms. She retaliated that evening during Dark Matter's influencer gala. Posing as a caterer, she wheeled in an espresso cart. Her latte art spelled "loosen chains" in curling calligraphy. When she steamed milk, the hiss became a choir of whistles. Each cup she served birthed a stealth sprite that slipped beneath the extraction ward's baseboards. The sprites gnawed at the ward's runes, weakening it. They needed a final strike, but Vexley tightened security. He lined the cafe with jade stones that dampened magic and replaced baristas with drones. Meanwhile, the city frayed. Buses skipped stops because drivers couldn't feel their feet. Office towers glowed at 3 a.m. like giant servers. Lake Union steamed as if boiling. Rosa felt the sprite's agony as static in her chest. She sat in Volunteer Park beneath a dripping cedar, pitcher in lap, practicing. She attempted new glyphs, ones not in Una's books, ones that belonged to the coffee itself. Over and over she spilled milk on the grass, shaping symbols until dawn. Una found her. "You look haunted." "I found a master glyph," Rosa said. "It's complicated. 5 continuous pours, no breaks." "What does it do?" "Freedom," Rosa whispered. "But we need every latte artist in the city." They convened at Pike Place Market after closing. Fruits and fish slept behind tarps. Neon signs buzzed like dull bees. Baristas lugged grinders, camp stoves, milk crates. SIBA circles sprawled under the clock. Even a few Starbucks shift leads showed up, citing corporate guilt. Rosa chalked the master glyph 12 feet across, concentric spirals, crescents, dots forming a fractal tulip. She positioned 10 volunteers at cardinal points, pitchers ready. She glanced at Una. "Once we start, the city will know." "Then let it know," Una said, donning sunglasses even though it was well past midnight. Rosa raised her pitcher. Steam rose like incense. "Pour!" Milk cascaded, lines merging flawlessly. Foam glowed pearl. The chalk drank it, sigil pulsing. Around them, the ground shook. Rooftop pigeons launched into the sky. Car alarms wailed. In Dark Matter's flagship, the extraction ward shattered like glass. A tidal wave of sprites, amber, russet, ivory, flooded out, screaming joy. They whipped through ventilation ducts, out street vents, across the city. Wherever they passed, Dark Matter coffee cooled into sludge, losing all potency. But Vexley had contingency plans. He retreated to a hidden roastery beneath the monorail, equipped with an industrial cauldron, part espresso machine, part alchemical reactor. He threw wads of venture cash onto the flames, chanting a fortune seeker's mantra. The smoke twisted into a colossal caffeine gin, swirling black and gold, eyes glowing like heat lamps. The gin rose above Seattle Center, sucking steam from every cup within miles. Tourists' frappuccinos imploded. Indie cafe boilers sputtered dry. Rosa felt her own blood thicken. She grabbed Una's hand and they sprinted towards the Space Needle, where the gin towered. Thunderhead limbs smashed vendor carts. The air smelled burnt, like an office at 4 a.m. Saiba members converged carrying portable generators and boxes of Oatly. Miguel wheeled a propane roaster, flames roaring. They set up on the lawn. Rosa outlined a battle plan. "We can't kill a gin," she said. "We convert it, from bitterness to balance." She directed baristas to form a circle, alternate cow milk and plant milk pitchers to represent unity. Central to them, she inscribed the master glyph a second time, but modified, adding an infinity loop and a heart cluster. The gin noticed. It descended, mouth a yawning portafilter, ready to suck the circle dry. "Pour hard!" Rosa shouted. Milk and oat flowed. Espresso vapor shot from Grady's travel kettle into the glyph. Sprites swarmed to help, drawing lines with their bodies. The glyph ignited brilliant sepia. A bass hum rattled windows from Queen Anne to Ballard. The gin inhaled, but instead of draining, it swallowed the glyph's glow. Its black swirl clouded with caramel streaks, then ivory, then robin egg blue. The towering figure shuddered, limbs collapsing into gentler plumes. At last, the gin didn't vanish. It condensed into a human-sized figure wearing a cloak of latte foam. Its eyes reflected gratitude and exhaustion. The crowd held its breath. The newly balanced spirit bowed to Rosa, then dispersed into a mist of roasted hazelnut aroma that wafted across Seattle like an apology. Police sirens wailed nearby, but the energy on the lawn was jubilant, exhausted, caffeinated in the purest way. Vexley, powerless, attempted escape via scooter, but slipped on a puddle of melted affogato spirit and was promptly arrested for endangering public health. In the aftermath, city officials, guided by the newly proud Saiba, drafted the Bean Rights Accord, recognizing caffeine elementals as sentient entities. Dark matter assets were seized and repurposed into a cooperative roastery governed by both humans and sprites. Rosa declined offers to franchise Lunar Beans or license her glyph. Instead, she focused on teaching. Wednesday nights, she hosted free workshops by candlelight, instructing newbies to coax kindness from foam. Una lectured on ethics, Miguel on pour speed, Pia on latte flowers, and the free gin, now a gentle restless cloud called Mellow Blue, demonstrated the deep notes of patience. One soggy December evening, Rosa noticed the Winnipeg tourist back at her counter. He ordered another lavender oat milk latte, still oblivious to the war he'd narrowly missed. Rosa poured carefully. Her art blossomed into a lavender knot, similar to the first, but perfected. And the tiniest sprite, purple-tipped wings fluttering, rose, winked, and settled on the cup's rim like a sugar rim. The tourist gasped. "Is it safe?" "She's a friend," Rosa said. "Sip gently." He did, and his smile spread slow and wide, like sunrise over Elliott Bay. Outside, Seattle's rain shimmered with invisible sprites dancing through each droplet. The city would always chase caffeine. That was human nature. But now, every cup carried a silent contract. Pour with respect, drink with gratitude. And amid the hiss of milk and grind of beans, if one listened carefully, One could hear tiny voices singing freedom into the foam.